Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a monster of a problem for any big e-commerce store. How do you build a category architecture that can actually scale when you're dealing with, over 50,000 different products?
Okay, let's just dive right in. When your product catalog gets this big, your site structure isn't just about making things look pretty. Nope, it becomes the absolute bedrock of your whole operation, affecting everything from your SEO to your user experience and even how efficiently you can run your business.
Because here's the thing, if you get the system right, adding another 10,000 products is no big deal. But if you get it wrong, oh man, a simple catalog update can literally turn into a 6-month-long nightmare that just completely stalls your growth.
So, to figure this out, we've got a really clear roadmap. We're going to start by digging into the core problem. Then we'll make a big mindset shift to think like a customer. After that, we'll design the blueprint, look at the engine that powers it all, and finally, wrap up with how you keep this whole thing healthy for years to come.
All right, first things first, let's really get a handle on what's at stake here. See, at this kind of scale, you can't just wing it anymore. Manually curating everything is out of the question. You absolutely need a system.
And that system has to juggle a lot of things all at once. It has to get your customers to the product they want in like 3 clicks or less. It needs to create those smart filters on the side of the page, but without accidentally creating thousands of duplicate pages that'll just tank your SEO. Plus, it has to handle all your complex merchandising rules and, actually work with your back-end product data. It is a really tricky balancing act.
So here's the most important part, the real turning point. To solve all those challenges, you have to completely change how you think about building categories in the first place. It's a fundamental mindset shift. And this quote just nails it. Most companies build their site categories based on how they organize their warehouse or their spreadsheets. But guess what? Your customers don't think that way. You have to build the navigation based on how they think, how they search.
So how do you actually do that? Well, you look at the data. Dive into your site search logs and see the exact words people are typing in. Go talk to your customer service team. Trust me, they are a goldmine of information on what confuses people. And hey, don't be afraid to analyze your competitors. They've probably already spent a ton of money figuring this stuff out. Learn from them.
All right, so let's get practical. How does this customer-first thinking actually translate into the design of your site's architecture? Well, there are a few core principles that are pretty much non-negotiable when you're this big.
First up, you have to go wide, not deep. Always choose horizontal scaling. Having 5, 6, 7 levels of categories, it's a conversion killer. It creates all these thin, useless pages that search engines just hate. It's so much better to have a shallow, broad structure. Think more categories at level 2, not a few categories that branch out forever and ever.
Now, a question I get all the time is, when does a simple filter deserve to become its own category page? Great question. Here's a simple checklist for you. If you have at least 20 or 30 products for that filter, if people are actually searching for it, if it shows they're ready to buy, and, this is key, if you can write some unique, valuable content for it, then boom, promote it. Otherwise, it just stays a filter.
And your design choices here have to show up in your URLs. A super long, nested URL like that one on the left just screams confusing to both users and search engines. The URL people actually see should always look clean and simple, even if the system behind the scenes is a bit more complex.
So that brings us to the really cool part, the engine that actually makes all of this work. I mean, how can one product logically live in a bunch of different places without creating a total disaster?
The answer is something called a multi-dimensional taxonomy. Now that sounds super technical, but it's actually pretty simple. This is the secret sauce. It's just a system where every single product gets tagged along several different lines, or dimensions. This is what lets one product show up in all these different user journeys without you having to duplicate anything.
Okay, let's make this real. Take a running shoe. Its main category might be women's footwear. Simple enough. But it's also tagged by product type, which is running shoe, and by use case, like trail running. Then you have all the attributes, like size and color. This means a customer can find that exact same shoe whether they browse by gender, by activity, or by searching for a specific feature like waterproof. It's one product, but with many paths leading to it.
So you build this beautiful system. But of course, that's just the beginning, right? To make sure it doesn't just fall apart over time, you need a solid plan for maintenance and for keeping an eye on things.
You've got to treat your site architecture like any other piece of critical equipment, which means regular audits. I'd say quarterly. You're hunting for things like orphan products that are just floating around, not in any category.
You're looking for those thin categories that need to be bulked up or merged, and you're checking to see which filters people are actually using versus which ones they just ignore. This is how you stop small problems from becoming huge ones.
And hey, your data will tell you if the system is actually working. Yeah, you should be tracking things like conversion rate by category. But here's a really telling one, the search fallback rate. If more than, say, 30% of your users give up on your navigation and go straight for the search bar, that's a massive red flag. It's telling you your structure just isn't working for them.
This quote just sums it all up perfectly. Getting your category architecture right is a huge investment, for sure, but the payoff is absolutely massive. It just makes everything else, your SEO, your content, the entire user experience, so much easier and way more effective.
So as we wrap this up, the big takeaway is to really look at your own site and ask yourself this question. Is your current category structure a solid foundation that's actually helping you grow? Or is it a shaky barrier that makes every new product launch feel like a total pain? Because when you're playing at scale, that foundation, well, that foundation is everything.